we're playing Islanders, I guess. Alexandrian Codex. I thought I was taking a break from this, but turns out I didn't install the DLC for Life is Strange 2, so that's gonna happen in the background. And just for the next little while, it looks like Alex talks politics for 6 hours straight. Hey, it's not all politics. I'll have you know, in the latest episodes, it was me talking about my love life. It's good shit. But you're not far off base. That is likely what this is going to turn into. No, it's probably not going to get too political today. It's probably just going to be embarrassing me talking about having fun yesterday. And yeah. Skip the filler arcs. You're not missing much. You're not. This is largely for my sake more than anything else. This is not the most this is therapeutic content more than anything else, and I don't want to obfuscate that at all. If I'm playing Islanders or anything else that's not really challenging or I don't want to say edgy, but you know, super interesting to watch, I get it. But it's more, for me, about getting back into the habit. I need a new series to really get into right now. The latest strategy series that I really dived into was Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that kind of barely constitutes. Well, Moobot's dead now while installing. You win. I'm gonna have to pop open Moobot's code and see how it's making those decisions. Because I just had it running on a lot of defaults, and this has been going on for way too long. I gotta dissect it. It did not like the OWU. Yeah, apparently no doggos allowed. Moobot is intensely anti-furry. It's a real shame. So, oh my god. Age of Wonders Planetfall is pretty good, but I didn't find it challenging or deep enough to warrant a continued series on. Like, it's good and it's interesting, but I kind of hate the balance of overview grid plus in-depth battles. Like, the pacing is really slow and it gets really damn repetitive. It's fun, do not get me wrong, it's fun and it's pretty, and I have almost finished the campaign, but again, the gameplay gets really repetitive, and it's just like, once you figure out certain formulas, it's like, oh, I build this, and then I build this, and then I complain about this with turn-based games a lot. Once I figure out good build orders, I tend to lose interest. Pacing is ass, yeah. In this chat, we stand furry rights. We do. We absolutely do. We stand most rights. Maybe not last rights, but... yeah, I remember when... Early on in the internet days, when furry communities really started coming together... phrasing. And becoming a more pronounced part of the internet community. It was pretty interesting. They were reviled for a long time. It was kinda shitty. For the right of the first night, yeah, we do not stand for that here. That is, prima nocte is not a night or a right that I'm huge on. I want more Islanders, I want more content to this. I want there to be DLC, I guess? Yeah, well, they might not have been the worst thing that you could find on the internet, but that was definitely the reputation at the time. Yeah, like, hey kids, y'all heard of furries? And it's like, ooh, no, this is crazy. I remember the fucking CSI episodes, or NCIS. Didn't they both have furry episodes where they're like, it's a weird sex thing. Yes, so strange. It's like, oh, hey, let's take this marginalized group and demonize them. Was it NCIS? Yeah. NCIS wasn't that great. The character who was the hacker, she was the only reason I watched that show when I did. And it was because she's like real cute and goth, and I am uber into that. The characters were okay, but I've never really found crime shows to be compelling or interesting enough to keep watching. By the same token, never really understood the appeal of murder porn. Wrong, NCIS? God damn it. So you can tell how versed I am here. NCIS Ellie. There's more than one NCIS? Old man Alex doesn't understand television. I haven't had cable in... Many moons. Many moons. Yeah. For professional sake, I shouldn't say this, but I smoked for the last time, or for the first time in like years last night, and Jesus Christ, I cannot handle my shit at all anymore. It's really embarrassing. I just shut the fuck up and couldn't talk, and it was bad. It was bad. It was very embarrassing. Because I love to regale stories of war stories, I think they're called, about like my days partying or doing this or doing that, but fucking dumbass got high and embarrassed and couldn't talk, and just I was like, so it was the end of a date, and I was at this intersection of seriously, all I could think about was like, wow, this person's really cute. Wow, this person's really cute. Just like over and over and fucking over. Or variations of that. Like, I was so dumb. My brain just got so dumb. It wasn't bad. It felt bad though. I'd get like 3 words into a sentence and just start butchering it. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty embarrassing for me. Yeah. I kind of have wanted to talk to my stoner friends back in Indiana about it, because I used to give them so much shit for when they got stupid high or like mute high. I deserve maybe the other foot. Oh, is this the start of Alex cringes at himself for 2 hours straight arc? Nah, that's my off-camera life. No joke. Last night I went to a dispensary, and forgot that they're cash-only businesses, which wasn't a big deal at the time. At the time, I'm like, no big deal, go to the ATM, da-da-da-da-da. I wake up this morning and start making breakfast, and the memory comes back to me, and I'm just like, I'm an idiot, and I'm embarrassed of myself. I should have known that somehow going in. Isn't it just wonderful and fantastic that our brains have that capacity to be like, hey, remember this thing that wasn't important? Do you want to just, like, hate yourself for a little while and not be able to do anything but focus on this? Yeah, let's sit with that for a while. I honestly, I haven't had that much fun wandering around downtown Seattle at night. Probably since I moved here. And even then, it's a close contention. Because when I first moved here, I was a lot more confused and nervous about, like, where the fuck am I and how the hell do I get back to where I'm staying? This time it's like, oh, I know where I am. I just kind of have to wander around for a while. If you're not awake at 4 a.m. cringing at something you did in the 3rd grade, are you even alive? I would say no, right? If you live a life without that, crippling, constant reminders of tiny mistakes you've made, what are you even doing? There's gotta be some biological advantage or evolutionary advantage to that. The Lord knows what it is. Maybe so that you don't repeat mistakes, or is reinforcement to learn? I don't know. It's a very unpleasant thing. The first time I remember going drinking downtown was St. Patrick's Day of 2015. I did not love it. I did not love it. There are? Oh. Well, okay. It's so weird to me that there are still cash-only businesses at all. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't like San Francisco, is how so many places there insist on cash-only business. And, you know, it's their prerogative, but Alex want not carry money. So that way, I don't have to lie to people. If they ask if I have $5 or change, I can just be like, no, I don't carry cash. And that's the end of the conversation. Do not remember your first St. Paddy's Day? I gotta say, of all the drinking holidays, it's definitely been lower on my list. Like, it's a trashy white people holiday, and I say this as someone born in Kentucky and obviously quite pale, quite Anglo. It's a weird holiday. First 3 St. Paddy's Days. Yeah, okay. That's fair. I remember previous St. Patrick's Days fine. Because honestly, I didn't really observe them because it's such a weird holiday. Yes, let's celebrate the banishing of snakes from Ireland, right? It isn't even like Irish Independence Day. I am very much a fried chicken person. In fact, we fried a lot of food at my grandparents'. One of the most memorable was going frog gigging when I was like 10. Frog gigging, if you're unaware, is frog hunting, basically. Though calling it hunting is glorifying it a little bit. It involves taking a bright flashlight and shining it in frogs' eyes in the middle of the night, so they get kind of stunned by the light. And a second person with the gig, which is a tiny trident about this big, stabs the frog. And then a third person with a bag lifts it up, so the second person can then put the frog in a burlap sack. And now, how that is an appropriate thing to teach children how to do when it's not out of necessity is beyond me. Yeah, see the reactions in chat. I I'm currently of the opinion that it was pretty. I did not feel good about it. I did not like it. But my Kentucky family are not rednecks, but they're country folk. They're country folk. Redneck is a bit too derogatory, and I do have love for them. So they're country folk. A lot of them do hunting, and like my dad's parents raise cattle. So this is all pretty normalized for them. Like, ah, yeah, let's go get an animal and kill it and eat it. Nah, not for me. Not for me. It was not a favorite experience. Now, West Virginia is one of the only states I've never been to. And I think you'd be pretty disappointed going to Kentucky with the lack of anything. Oh, I meant to, Terry, I meant to text you this last night, but I was having so much trouble forming coherent sentences. On my walk home, I passed a group of obvious tourists, and this lady in a southern accent said in the most frustrated and dejected tone, "They don't really have American food around here." And I just lost my shit, started laughing on the sidewalk. They're so angry that there's not American food in Seattle. Dude, come on, we have so many great types of food. We have amazing Thai places and Vietnamese places. We have some really good Indian food. We have really good sushi and amazing teriyaki. But this old white lady was so mad that we didn't have American food. I'm like, just leave. Just leave and don't come back. Clearly this is not for you, and I'm glad we've sorted this out. Just go. Go, please. Oh god, yeah, I was dying. I was dying. It was good. Yeah, I have friends that don't have a more refined palate, and you know, do what makes you happy. Eat what makes you happy, and try to not destroy the planet with it. But one of my first dates, the person I first dated in Seattle, our second date. First date we went to a bar that I really liked. The second date was to a... Am I fucking this up? No, I'm right. You don't know any better. I could be getting this wrong. Lutefisk is abomination. I will never try it out of just fear. We went to a Vietnamese place, and I had never eaten with chopsticks before because I grew up in the fucking Midwest, and the closest thing we had to an authentic Chinese or Japanese experience were like pretty mediocre sushi places that trendy people claimed was really good, but like you had to know it wasn't really all that good. And like a hole-in-the-wall Chinese places with generic names like Mandarin Wall or Canton Dragon. Oh, dude, I loved Canton Dragon, though. It's a stupid name, but I have fond memories of that place. Never learned how to use chopsticks because it's just a weird instrument. I was surrounded by people in a culture that were like, this is a silly foreign way of eating. We don't even try this. It's stupid. Essentially, was the consensus, I guess, or what I was taught is just it's kind of silly. No one directly taught me that, but that was the subtext. So I'm sitting with this date, and she is Asian. And we've been hitting it off and having a really good time. The first date went really, 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 really well. And we got pho, which I had never had before. Thank God that I love pho, because it could have gone sideways in so many ways. Also turns out using chopsticks is like pretty easy. Or I just picked up on it really quickly. But now chopsticks are like my preferred utensil. It's so much more, I don't know, elegant feeling and fine and dexterous just to like pick things up and eat them that way. Yeah, this doesn't get cringy. See, it's not 2 hours of Alex cringes at himself. It's like, oh hey, I was worried about something, but it turned out to be nothing. It was fine. Don't be afraid to try new things, he says, being deathly afraid of trying certain new things. 15. So I think there are people moving today. God bless them. They sounded pretty happy earlier, though I'm sure as the day goes on, less so. Yeah, they're like really long fingers. Yeah, you're totally right. I love it. It's a great sensation. Balanson, I would try Lutefisk for you. I do Lutefisk for you. I do not promise that I would like it. But you're right. I don't know that it's horrible. I just am terrified by the name and description and means of production of it. What other Norwegian foods are there? Like, and I'm obviously saying that from a place of ignorance, and I recognize that. I'm not trying to be like, Norwegians don't have food, just smelly fish. No, I know there's a distinct food culture in Scandinavia. I'm just out of the loop. Potatoes? Well, that's not really Scandinavian. You know, potatoes kind of come from other parts of the world, but they do grow in Scandinavia, so fair. Fuck ton of salt. Yeah, this sounds horrible. This sounds like Midwestern food. Fish, salt, and potatoes. I like spices. I like sweet things and spicy things, and I like having peppers in my life. Reindeer? Alright, true. Have that in common with... Oh my god. Siberian peoples. There we go. And I guess certain Inuit communities. It's actually really interesting, the cultural variety of peoples thrown underneath the category of Inuit. Just differences in diet, differences in art styles, differences in family structure. They're all painted under a pretty broad brush, but it's very interesting. Caribou? Yeah, I guess that's right. It's a deer. It's a deer from a different place. If we can, I mean, you're right, but I'm not a biologist. I'm not a, there's a word for it. A word for somebody who studies mammals. Mammologist. That's not right. Or specifically, deer and horses and bovine. What is that section of the... I can't remember what that's called. There's a word for it. I don't know it, but there's a word for it. It's kind of one of the wonderful and just agonizing things about the English language is if you have a concept, no matter how nebulous it is, there's probably a word for it, but it's probably a word that only a handful of academics really would understand or recognize. Because we've stolen so much. Yeah, I have to work at midnight tonight. Gonna be fucking weird. Normally, I'm able to coerce myself to sleep by now. Not happening. Ruminant mammal. Maybe it's ruminants I'm thinking of? It's not Cervidae. Cervidae is, it's defined by... God, yeah, I haven't studied biology since, like, 8th grade. I don't remember. It's, I think it's the family that whales and horses belong to. What family is that? Because it's Ordo Animalia. This really doesn't matter. Fallen Stellan's just like Google by proxy. Just like, I don't know what this is, and I can't exit this window. Pulling up a textbook, God bless. I'm sure Wikipedia would probably shine some light on this. This is essentially what I do all night. Is just be like, hey, this is a thing I used to know. I don't remember it. Let's look it up. Yeah, really doing the heavy lifting today, and I appreciate it. So, Life is Strange 2 is definitely the current series that we're going to be making for... Honestly, it's probably only going to last about a week until I'm all caught up, and I'm going to have to wait for the last chapter to come out. I am very open to suggestions of what to play after that, but I am kind of content to be on a hiatus from EU4, Victoria 2, stuff like that. Like I've talked about before, it just gets me in a pretty negative headspace if I play it for too long. Just the obfuscation of etc, etc. You've heard it to death. I probably will look at more stuff by the folks who made Red Strings Club, because I loved that game. PDX games they're really good at doing what they do. Yeah, 50% playing, 50% Googling. At about 1,000 hours, it turns into like 90% playing, 10% Googling, but then you're only like looking up exploits. It gets easier, but like it takes a minute. You're related to giraffes, bison, and those fucking adorable little deer. Oh, what are they called? Yeah, they're real cute. They have like tiny little antlers. The Burke Museum, the Natural History Museum here in Seattle at UW, has skeletons of them, and oh my god, they're so tiny. They're so tiny. They're so like small and fragile. It's amazing that those can just exist. Mouse deer? There's mouse deer, and then there's something else that they have there that's equally small and cute and just absolutely adorable. Jerboas. Jerboa is what else they have there. Jerboas are very cute. So it dawned on me when talking with Terry like a week ago? I don't know, time's real weird right now. It feels like the last week has been a month or more, in the best way. I don't think I've ever seen a capybara in person. Poodoo. Wait a minute, I know what those are. They're tiny deer, right? But this I'm actually exiting. Cute things. P-U-D-U. Poodoo deer. Yeah, these weird little creatures. Yeah. Chubby little bastards. Those are adorable. Alex will Google cute animals, apparently. I want to see capybaras. The Seattle Zoo has tapirs, and I just want to hug them. They're so big and kind of smelly, but like, they're adorable, and they just sleep all the friggin' time. I love them. I have given vague consideration to getting a pet, but I don't want to care for another living being right now. One, being me, is hard enough sometimes. But, and also, like, I get upset enough when my robot fucking vacuum gets caught on something that I know I'm not in a place where I could stand having an organism's health depend on me. Yeah, I guess I can come see yours. It's a good excuse anyway. But like, I kind of want to get something. I'm really undecided about it. Like, I really miss having fish tanks. And those are pretty dang easy, but having lower forms of intelligence around that you just kind of stare at through glass all day seems ominous. Like, that's horror story level stuff if it were happening to humans. Ah, cool. Yeah, meerkats are super cute. Those and groundhogs I really liked when I was younger. I was trying to talk about this at some point. Yeah. There was a petting tank. Aquariums have these. Touching pool? I'm trying very hard not to phrase this in a way that is more sexual than necessary, but join the petting pool. Don't know why, but I have always been kind of scared of petting zoos and like nervous about petting things in petting zoos. Like, I get it's cute and like exciting, but I'm also like, I must have been bitten by an animal at some point and had a bad reaction to it. My and the Morris side of my family, my grandparents raised cattle, right? So I had to help herd cattle. And it's pretty easy. You just make your arms big and make loud sounds, and they run away from a pretty early age. But yeah, I guess I was surrounded by a lot of attitudes and socialized norms surrounding animals that I wasn't really okay with, but couldn't quite identify why. Caressing cage. A caressing cage sounds less blatantly. That sounds cute in a way. Well, okay, no, see, my imagination just made it go straight kinky after that, not straight kinky, pretty queer kinky, but, at first caressing cage was just like a box that you hugged it, but then it turned into, like, something completely different. I'm just gonna stop now, and I'm just gonna place things. Ooh, well, it's not the dog's fault that metal is sharp and you hurt your forehead. I like having pets, and I like other people's pets. I don't know. There's definitely something there, but it's not immediately accessible. No joke, I would love to get hypnotherapy done. I would love it. I have no idea what would come up, if anything, but just the thought of it is fascinating to me. That, and I want a weekend or a date, or I don't know, something like that, where I just go out to every fortune teller and soothsayer and tarot card reader that I can possibly find and just get my fortune or aura or whatever read over and over and over and over and over, just in a day, in a 24-hour period, just to see the range of things I'd be told and see how much of it resonates with me and how much of it doesn't. Not to be a, haha, this is so inconsistent and weird. I think it sounds fun. But I've never done it. I've gotten my tarot cards read before. Or not my tarot. You know what I mean. My phrasing isn't quite on, but I want to know. I want to let my inner demons see the light of day. I'm curious. I am intensely curious about it. And in the past, when I have been incredibly high, I've definitely done some poking around into, like, trying to reanalyze and recontextualize my childhood and, like, okay, if I were an outsider looking in on these things in my childhood, like, how would I feel about it today? How would my current values, would I think about this or feel about this or stuff like that? Nothing like crazy traumatic, just like friendships or relationship dynamics and stuff like that. I love that garbage. I love it. 610. Ugh, ugh, ugh. All of these are horrible. Well, I guess I'll take the 10 then. Speaking... Fuck, I have an election coming up. Yeah, Canada doesn't have a lot of time to debate it. What, the election's coming up in a few months? Is it a few months or is it a few weeks? It's real quick. Meanwhile, ours is just dragging on forever, and somehow Joe Biden still thinks he's a candidate. Dad, Ballenstein, you made me go political. You dog. I was doing such a good job. Oh. Damn it. I hope not. I really hope not. If that were to occur, I will take every effort to leave this country. Sweden sounds really nice. Denmark looks pretty great. Norway seems alright. Canada, you know, y'all got your own problems. I hear Trudeau has something that would qualify for an episode of My Strange Addiction going on. But Iceland sounds pretty nice too. There's a lot of appeal to getting the fuck out of here. God, when will Fortnite add a Bernie skin? No. That's about as bad as Che Guevara shirts. Just like blatant capitalism commodification of revolutionary figures and ideas. Yeah, BC seems like it would be a pretty good fit, depending on where I go. But also, I'm not the only American by far who's like, Canada seems nice. I have a... You could punch a Norse neo-Nazi or two in Sweden. We have plenty of those in fucking Seattle. Though, they get punched pretty quickly, and that's one thing I really love about Seattle, is just how many anarchists and socialists and radical socialists and communists and etc. are here. It's one of the few places in the country that has a very well maintained history of political organization by the people, for the people, good labor organizations, and yeah, I've really been charmed and taken by that. But at the same time, this is the, you know, capital of Lord Bezos's Holy American Empire, Holy Amazonian Empire would have been better to say, and that has some shortfalls. Yeah, it is fucking hard to immigrate to Canada. Can't blame them. Can't blame them at all. Yeah, I mean, I complain about Lord Bezos, but I also use Amazon Prime like all the fucking time because I work night shift and I'm lazy, which I don't feel great about, and increasingly want an alternative. Like really badly, I want an alternative because I don't feel good putting my money into Amazon. But you know, at the same time, we are on an Amazon platform right now, and I am technically affiliated with the company because I'm here, and yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling. I could really go for just traveling for a while. I don't have the money to be frivolous about it, but the more that I read, I know that we're not getting any points for this. I just like the aesthetic, and that one's backwards. Oh, these are all backwards. Oh, gross. I want to see more of the world and get a greater context of what places are actually like. Like, it's one thing reading about other countries and other cultures and other histories and religions, but it's another thing entirely to actually be there and participate. Well, you know, participate as much as you can as an outsider. But I've always been reluctant to travel outside the country because so many goddamn Americans do it in such a tasteless and offensive way, and I don't want to get roped into that. I don't want to be thrown into the same group. I don't want to cause any repeat traumas or reminders of traumas caused by my country folk because, you know, it's... I'm very disgusted by my country. And I don't speak any languages well but English. I can understand a little French, a little Spanish, a lot of German. I can't speak it. I can tell what the hell you're saying, I just can't respond. Portuguese is weird to me. My mom grew up in Brazil, so in Campinas, so she raised my sister and I speaking English and Portuguese. Oh yeah, you're right. I could pose as an Australian, but I'm not nearly mean enough. I don't call people cunt all the time. I think I'd have to weigh that a little bit. If I moved to Australia, people would hate me because they'd think I was fake by my politeness. But we spoke Portuguese and English until I was in 2nd grade of Catholic school. But by then, the dumbass Midwestern Catholic instructors there thought that we didn't understand English because we kept on combining into like an English Portuguese Creole. Like, my sister referred to a pumpkin by the Portuguese word for pumpkin, and they thought she was calling it a fucking ball. No, she wasn't calling it a ball. She's just more educated than you goddamn Midwest fucks. So we quit being taught Portuguese then because my mom didn't want to ruffle any feathers. Vote green. If green is Green Party, or vote left, man. Just vote as left as you can. Doesn't matter if they're a viable candidate, just push the statistics left. That is my advice. Is it accurate? I don't fucking know. Just push it. Push it and insist that other people do too. Or, but left is Daddy Trudeau. Well, you know, you gotta pick one, right? I'm not sure that there's an easy choice there. God, imagine if an American prime minister or presidential candidate was discovered to have done blackface not once, but 3 times, at least 3 times. Holy hell. Canada's handling it much better than we would. Genetically engineered Catgirl party. Yeah, I'm into that. That sounds pretty in line with fully automated gay space communism. Did I do that right? I think so, yeah. That sounds pretty in line with my political beliefs. One of those was brown-faced. Dog, come on. Potato racist. It's the same thing. It's not okay either way. You could literally be combining random colors and animal names, and I wouldn't know any better if you were making this shit up or not. My knowledge of Canadian politics is abysmal. My knowledge of Canadian politics up to 1890, pretty good. After that point, nah. Blue rhinos are the communists. What a fucking name. Yeah, so, okay, Wallenstein, maybe you can explain the audacity of Canada's decision to relocate indigenous Inuit peoples further north during the Cold War in order to claim more frozen, useless islands in the North Atlantic. How the hell did that happen? That's like mastermind evil shit. It's you sweet Canadians, I didn't think you had that kind of twistedness in you. It's a very American thing for you to have done. To stop the Americans from doing it? Yeah, I mean, we were trying to buy those islands, and the Russians were as well, but dang. I think the corrupting aura of America. Ooh, you gotta get away from us. Better Canucks than Americans? Yeah. Listen, I know that it's one of the worst things to say to a Canadian, but y'all should just really let us annex you. Not that you would be better off. Probably not. I mean, we have some advantageous things, but we need you? We need you, like, real badly. We need your demographics to help flip the political landscape here. And, yeah, we need some more Canadianism here in the United States. So, you know, we're too proud to admit it, and we would never join your confederation. So, no, see, it's not about numbers. You don't understand our electoral system. Our electoral system has nothing to do with population. It's inherently broken. Adding in all of the Canadian provinces, states, or better yet, breaking them up into smaller states, would give you a ridiculous number of representatives and senators. Population don't matter. That's why places like fucking Iowa are so important in the American presidential elections. Yeah, well, Canada should annex the US, not the other way around, but the US is too stubborn to admit we have a problem. So, yeah, the humanitarian thing to do is just bite the bullet and let us think we won. We're like toddlers. Aren't some of the Canadian provinces due for redistricting? Because they are, like, stupidly big. And they have been revised in recent history, right? Am I wrong about this? Northwest Territories, when did you get divided up? Yeah, in 99, the Northwest Territories was split up between Nunavut and Northwest Territories, so it hasn't been that long. It's only been 18 years. That's a hell of a lot more recent than we've changed any of our borders. The state of southern, northern, further, deeper, inner Manitoba. Yeah, you get it. Seven out of 10 of the provinces are bigger than Texas. Yeah. Yeah, man, imagine the good you could do by just destroying Texas's ego by them no longer being the biggest state. You'd be doing us such a favor. They'd be like, everything was bigger in Texas, but not anymore. Not anymore. Alright. We're getting damn close to throwing here, which is fine. This Islander session has gone on for about an hour, which is about when I said bedtime should be. Well, Alaska's the biggest, but Texas acts like it is. Yeah, I guess Alaska is the biggest in terms of acreage. There we go. I kept thinking Anchorage. I'm like, no, that's a place in Alaska. Quebec is like too big, right? Quebec is way too big. Way, 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 way too big. Also kind of weird. So the numbered numbered treaties. Those mostly happened on Upper Canada to the west coast. Meanwhile, Quebec didn't really seem to have to deal with the numbered treaties. There are just like no treaties of annexation for a lot of the First Nations in there, and it's kind of obfuscated how exactly those areas were seized from First Peoples. It's weird. Like, real weird. Yeah, the French just kind of took it, but then the British took over Lower Canada and Quebec, and their policy towards Indigenous peoples was different, and it's weird that they didn't make treaties because that was their policy to do. I don't know. They gave the French Canadians a lot of autonomy, so I guess that's why not, but it's real weird. Yeah. I only know this because I was trying to figure out when the hell to have events fire in the mod that I've been planning and not working on, just planning. I've been doing groundwork for it, but not coding for it lately. Trying to figure out, like, okay, these people had it until this time, and now they still claim that they've never signed a treaty to give it up, which is probably true, so, like, what the fuck happened? Like, there's not a coherent historical record of what happened, it's just people lived here, and then suddenly it's Canadian, and no big hubbub about it. It's mighty strange. But, I mean, as an American, I can't really talk at all. 52? This is a strange break from the Islander series, because it's mostly just been me monologuing and trying to wrap it up with some sort of positive note at the end after a hour or so of existentialist tirade. This one's quite different. Not bad, mind you, just different. And I really don't have to work. I don't want to work tonight. I really don't want to work. I know I'm a broken record, but it's just... I've had a really great weekend. Well, I had a great Saturday. Today has been spent in dread of midnight, but it's been good. I want more. More weekend. I really miss having a part-time job as my only gig. Because it was a lot of fun. It was hard work. It was way harder work than what I'm doing now. But it was a lot of fun, and I felt like I had more time. Calling sick? Can't. We are morosely understaffed, and it has some really archaic staffing policies. Like, you're not allowed to take time off unless you find someone to work that shift for you. But currently, we are like 3 people short, so no one is able to work that shift for you. So they're not actually able to offer paid time off or sick time or anything. Like last week, I worked overtime, and one of my coworkers worked an unhealthy amount of overtime, and we still could not staff the desk for as long as we needed to. I work at a train wreck right now. But the thing is, at night, it doesn't really matter that it's a train wreck. Though, honestly, they just turned down a promotion I was asking for / low-key demanding, so your boy might be looking into other possibilities very, 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 very soon. Because they need me more than I need them right now. That sounds legal. Yeah, if you read American labor laws, they're just awful. They cover so little, and they are so pathetic, so insufficient. They're really there to protect companies and have a facade that sounds good, sounds like they take care of their workers, but really doesn't do much of anything. Or sometimes it doesn't even sound like it takes care of their workers. And again, I feel really bad complaining because I have friends who have much more difficult jobs. Oh no, the escape room was where I used to work. It's great. Locurio is an amazing company. The owners, Summer and Natalie, are wonderful, creative, kind people. The business is a little too small to sustain the kind of budget that I need moving forward. And I was getting pretty tired of being in the same position. But if you are ever in Seattle and in the mood to play an escape room, absolutely play one at Locurio. They have hands down the best games in Seattle and some of the best on the West Coast. And they're top 10 worldwide in certain respects, so absolutely highly recommend. I know some of the staff working there are fantastic, and the current manager there, I think very highly of as well. So 10 out of 10 would recommend, not complaining about that. The place I work right now, I am a fucking night concierge. And by that I mean I'm a night auditor. But they don't want to call me a night auditor because they'd have to pay me more if they called me a night auditor, even though I fucking audit everything there. I work at a condo, downtown, so I do very little. I sit at a desk, I ring people in, I give people mail, I make and check reservations, I walk around the building to make sure it's still intact, and if something goes wrong, I notify people who can fix it. I really do nothing that a good automated system couldn't do. The accounting I do, I don't think anyone else on staff can do. Which puts me in a position that's like, listen, our entire staff are paid laterally too. We are all paid the exact same amount regardless of how long they've been there or not. There's someone who's been working at the company for like 5 years, and she makes the same amount that I do. I would not be at the company if I were her. It's fucking insane. Yeah, some escape rooms will leave you feeling pretty bad. Curio do a really good job at trying to make sure you at least see everything in the room. And if you were on time and could get the game started when you were supposed to, and really the onus is on you, they, depending on the staff, and assuming that you got more than halfway through, they're very likely to take time to answer questions about the room, the design, the yada yada yada, how things work, and let you see the end, even if you didn't quite win. I currently make $17 an hour. I work 36 to 40 hours a week, so you can map that out. I am above the median average for the United States in terms of income, but I'm still below low income. I make less than... Oh, let's see. God damn it. How... You know what? It's a good question. It's a good question. Hold on. Let me just... I don't make that much. Honestly. Let's see. I make about $2K a month after taxes. $2,000 a month after taxes. Before taxes and after benefits, it's probably higher than that. They have a pretty okay benefits program, but I'm not really taking advantage of it because I work at nights. I don't really have time to go to the doctor, except on like Saturday, but that's the one day I want to be social, so why do I have this benefit program? What is that annually? 24, 26K annually? Not great. Not great. Not terrible, but not great. Yeah, so obviously this is not a long-term thing for me. At all. I've worked it since March, mostly because I found myself in a position where my last relationship was ending. We had agreed that in June we were going to move our separate ways, come hell or high water, even if that meant I had to move back to live with folks or friends in the Midwest, that we just needed to go our separate ways for both of our health. And this is the first thing that stuck, so I jumped on it. And it's not hard and it's not terrible, but it really does not work for me very well. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing fine. Really, I'm happier and healthier now than I have been for the last 3 years. I'm doing really well. Particularly, I've been going on and on disgustingly about how much fun I had this weekend, and I had a really, really good time this weekend, and it's been a good reminder of how much better I've been doing. I've lost like 20 pounds since January intentionally. I've been on a diet. I've been able to start decorating my home like I like it. I live in a part of town that I like. The job isn't that bad. It's just Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, it's not that bad. Things are going okay, but I'm not contented with okay. I am hungry for more, so I'll probably be spending a lot of my nights this week looking at other jobs. But I'm fine. I'm doing okay. I am gonna get off here because it's like 4 and I need to go to work in 8 hours. It's been nice seeing you. And it's been nice streaming again. I will probably, if I'm streaming, or if I'm recording, it is after... It's going to be around 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to noon Pacific Standard Time. I know that is the worst fucking time, but that's my night now. So, if I see you then, that's great. If not, the show will be on YouTube, and I read your comments. So, we'll be around. Maybe Sundays I'm here noonish to afternoon, but yeah, I am here at the worst time. I know. Anyway, I'm gonna put in a cut here, and well, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's shit up for the next week probably, so stop by then, comment, share, subscribe, etc., etc. Bye-bye.